What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, still coming at you from colorful Colorado. It is Saturday, March 19th, and hopefully this wind isn't too bad. Usually when we got some wind coming in like this around this time of the year, there's going to be some snow in a couple days. I don't know because I'm not on the road and I haven't looked at the forecast, but I kind of wanted to talk about a comment that was left on one of my videos, and hopefully this video will help you gain some perspective, and maybe if not on your own, at least the way I kind of look at things. So without going into this comment verbatim, I'm just kind of want to tell you what the gist of this comment was. So the comment was made on a video when my second truck came into Prime, and somebody left a comment saying that I'm just another fake owner operator at Prime. Went a little bit further than that, but that's the gist, right? So hopefully this video will maybe give you some perspective, and if not perspective of your own, perspective on how I see things. So first of all, never ever at Prime, and I've mentioned this in a video before, when we fill out our trip sheets and it says, owner operator, all that kind of stuff, still to this day, I still cringe when I mark that X on that box, because I don't look at myself as an owner operator. But what would an owner operator be? Let's say I had both of my trucks paid off and I was still under Prime. Would that make me an owner operator? Personally, I don't think so. Let's say I was at Landstar and I had a truck that was financed and I was leased onto them. Would I consider myself an owner operator? No. Let's say I had a truck that was paid off and I was leased onto Landstar. Would I consider myself an owner operator? No. The only time personally I would consider myself an owner operator is if I was running under my own authority and handling everything on my own. At that point, I would think or consider myself an owner operator. That doesn't mean that my perspective on this is correct, but I kind of want to take you back to one of the reasons I feel this way. Oftentimes you'll hear me say that this is not a big dick swinging contest, and that hasn't always been the case. I look back at when I was in the mortgage industry and I was a manager and I was managing an office in Colorado and one in Phoenix, Arizona. And primarily in Phoenix, because if we ever went out as an office in Colorado, chances were the owner of my company was there and he was picking up the bill and all this kind of stuff. So that was a little bit of a different story. But if I went out to Phoenix and I was like, hey, let's go out for drinks, dinner, whatever, we go out and, we might go to a restaurant. The bill might be $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000, something like that. And I would just be sitting back in the cut. And when the bill comes, it used to pleasure me to see who they were going to drop the bill off, because here I am, some younger guy, not really that young at the time, maybe early 30s, something like that, probably more dressed down than everybody there. And when the bill comes, everybody's pointing at me as to the person that's going to pay for it. And there was some sense of satisfaction, not only because, here's this, young 30 black guy out here with all these other people, and I'm the one that's handling the bill. It was a big dick swinging contest for no other reason than to have a big dick swinging contest. And with growth, and not necessarily growth that came in the trucking industry, I kind of worked through this as I, kind of worked my way through management, but it really I kind of look back on that and looked at when my perspective on that changed. And it changed during that period of time, during that, few year period of time. And really when I wasn't concerned about who was saying I was the manager or what anybody was thinking, it was when I became comfortable in my job. And once I was comfortable, as they say, comfortable in my own skin, I didn't care if anybody knew I was a manager, didn't know I was a manager, any of that kind of stuff. And I see a lot of this in the trucking industry, a lot of people out there chasing. And a lot of times it may not even be chasing money, it's chasing that title. You know what I'm saying? Like owner operator. And to me, the title doesn't matter. If you go back to any of my old videos, when I first came to Prime, I was going to come in as a company driver, and I wouldn't have had any issue being a company driver at all, because I don't base who I am off of what my title is. And I think a lot of people in the trucking industry do that. And I think, I just read something where they were talking about the failure rate of owner operators in the trucking industry. It was either 45 or 55%. I don't remember what the actual number was, but I think a lot of those people that are failing are people that are failing because they're trying to jump out of the nest too early and trying to get somewhere where, now saying deserved is, you're the only one that can say, it's not a matter of deserving it or not, but if you're out there and your goal is just to be an owner operator, and you don't have your ducks in a row, you don't have the money saved, you don't have everything in place, but you're an owner operator, and that's what gives you fulfillment, then you're doing it all wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I've been a little critical of people lately concerned about fuel prices and stuff like that, and the only reason I'm doing that is, or the only reason my perspective is that, is because I'm not, you know what, I can't really explain it. I think that at this place in my life, I think you need to be in a position, you need to put yourself in a certain place to be in a certain position. If I was coming into the trucking industry at the same point that I was talking about when I was in the mortgage industry, chances are I may be just chasing that owner-operator status just to give me that, status more so than actually caring about what it is to be an owner-operator. You know what I'm saying? There's no sense in calling yourself an owner-operator if you're worried about fuel or anything like that. And I'm not saying that fuel, maybe I'm lucky I'm at Prime, but even if I was an owner-operator, I would not be sitting here concerned about the fuel, because I would have put myself in position to weather the storm. And I'm not talking about, we're not even a month into this. I'm talking about weathering the storm for 6 months, a year, long enough to weather anything to where when prices come back, I'll be one of the ones that's left standing. So I'm not out here trying to call myself, I don't care what anybody calls me. You know what I'm saying? So, and hopefully this video can save at least one person that's maybe thinking about, jumping before they're ready for all the wrong reasons. Think about the reasons why you want to be an operator and go out on your own. And I'm not saying don't do it. And this could be from, getting into the trucking industry in general, going company, or going company to lease, or going lease to, lease purchase, or, owner operator, whatever. Have your shit ready before you make that jump. There's a lot of people that I see on Prime Facebook pages that are complaining about the Prime lease, and the reason they're complaining, there ain't nothing wrong with the Prime lease that I can see. Now, what I see is a lot of people that aren't necessarily managing either their business or their personal stuff correct, or went in a little bit short of what I've been suggesting, but I'm just the person that's giving advice. I'm not here to give a blueprint or anything like that, but it's just on all levels. I just see a lot of people that are rushing to the next step, and a lot of times the rush isn't because of the money, because the difference between company and lease, there's a whole lot of advantages regardless of what company you're with to go company as opposed to lease. I can't talk down on anybody, whether it be company or lease, because I have a lease driver or a company driver driving for me. And hopefully the advantages that she may be getting running under me, maybe doing a little bit better than a company driver would be, helps her out. But I don't look at myself at, she teases me every now and then and calls me boss or something like that. The title doesn't matter. It's her truck. You know what I'm saying? Or you see people that get into being an owner operator with like $10,000 cash. I mean, that's not enough. I wouldn't feel comfortable with $10,000 of cash just in general. But you have people jumping in to be an owner-operator with $10,000. I mean, I'm kind of rambling a little bit. Really, my main point, let's just boil it down. Take your time. Don't chase titles. Don't do any of that kind of stuff. And I'm not telling you this for any other reason than from my personal experience. Now, that personal experience didn't necessarily come to bite me at that point, but when I decided to go out on my own, it did come back and bite me, and it ended up costing me a whole bunch of money. So what was I looking for? You know, I could look and say, okay, well, I wanted to control things a little bit more. I wanted to maybe make a little bit more money, whatever it was. But to be honest with you, if I really look at it, it was just to be, you know, it's not considered the same thing in the mortgage industry, but it was kind of, you know, that, you know, just the ability to say, you know what, I'm doing this shit on my own, more so than anything, because how much more money was I going to make? You know what I'm saying? I might have made more money per loan, but then I would have probably ended up paying more money because I didn't have the support. So anyway, enough about that. I just wanted to kind of talk about that comment and kind of tell you a little bit kind of about what my thoughts were on it. There will probably never be a time that I'm in the trucking industry that I will consider myself an owner-operator, because even if I stayed at Prime and I had 15 trucks paid off, which I'm not going to do, but if I had 15 trucks paid off, I would not consider myself an owner-operator. If I took those 15 trucks and leased on the Landstar, I would not consider myself an owner-operator. Until I have my own authority and start doing all that stuff on my own, I will just consider myself leased on to somebody. And it really doesn't, you can call me a company driver, you know, any of that stuff. It really doesn't matter to me. Anyway, let's take all this, you know, wannabe status off of what we're really trying to do and just do what we gotta do. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking Transportation. As always, comment and subscribe, and I'm out.